What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Last video of my Toolbox tour has got about 350 views already. It seems pretty well received by you guys. I appreciate all the views. So I'm coming back today with a part 2, and it's going to be the tour of my garage. It's also going to be the 10 subscriber special because I finally hit that 10 subscriber. Double digits, baby. I appreciate all of you. Stay tuned. Alright, here we are back at it again. We're going to start with the top of the big red box right here. Got a little battery charger. Definitely comes in handy for charging up batteries. Mainly got it for something else in the garage that I'll be showing here in just a minute. Here's my second jump box. This is the one I had before, the small portable Schumacher one that I keep in the van. This one's pretty good too, but it's big and bulky and I much prefer the portable one. Back here I got just a bunch of charger stuff for all the different battery powered tools that I have. Right here we got a vacuum pump. I've done a few AC jobs using that, mainly on my own vehicles, but that definitely comes in handy. Then we got the bench grinder. You already know what it is on that. Down here we got a creeper. This thing's pretty cool too. A friend of mine gave it to me. Basically, if you fold that up like that, and then there's a little pin right here, and it will flip over, but you can't get it with one hand, but it becomes a creeper, and it's also a bench, or a seat rather. Next, we'll move into the top of the box here. I've got this front wheel bearing deal. It's not a very good tool, to be completely honest with you. It installs wheel bearings, but you have to use an impact gun, and a lot of times they end up going in crooked and stuff with this tool. I'm going to get to my tool that I would use instead of this here in just a moment. Here's a couple tools for holding the camshafts in place on the 2-valve Triton engine. And I believe this tool is to center the crankshaft on that same engine when you're trying to get it to top dead center. This is like a spanner wrench sort of deal. It's used for getting the little plastic ring off of the fuel pump so you can remove it on some vehicles. I don't even remember what I bought this for, but I think this also works on some of those type of deals. I think it's actually for like plumbing under your sink, but it's a very similar sort of tool. And then I got a big wooden level in here. Don't really use that too much. Got a piston ring compressor. And then we've got a couple of those old style Ford Bronco and F-150 4x4 sockets. And then this, I think it's got an impact gun and a paint sprayer and a ratchet wrench, all air powered. I don't really use any of that too much, being mobile. On to the next drawer, a whole bunch of more wrenches. This is mostly where my standard stuff is because all the metric is in the van. Next drawer is kind of some random stuff, really. This is some drill bits. We got a couple of razor blades and a couple of AC recharge deals, a couple pieces of chalk, and then this is a tool for that thing I told you I was going to show you here in just a minute. Now, the next drawer, I've got a Borescope, another old school vacuum gauge, a compression tester, a couple of adapters for that, and a little test light. This is definitely a secondary toolbox. I don't use everything in here on a regular basis. We got a couple more multimeters, some wiring, some soldering stuff, and this thing's actually kind of cool. It's a butane soldering tool. It works out alright for some smaller jobs. I used to have a soldering gun, but I broke it. Then we got a air ratchet, we've got an air hammer, a blowgun, a die grinder, and a couple of other random air tools. And then down in here, we've got our extremely large pipe wrench and snap ring pliers, as well as a Dremel set. If you're wondering what those snap ring pliers are used for, wheel bearings. Those snap rings are huge. Next drawer, the top small one, we got just a bunch of random extra sockets and stuff that I got. Next drawer is old school Shorty's first aid kit. Got to keep your skateboards nice and tuned up. And then this here is a brake flaring tool if you got to replace a line or something. And then I got this little kit for bench bleeding master cylinders, because a lot of times they don't come with those. And then here's a good old bearing separator and puller kit. I'm pretty sure that a guy that I worked on his car just randomly gave me this as like a tip, and so I honestly don't even think I've ever used it. If I can get the damn thing open and out of here. It's that little bearing separator deal right there. So I got all kinds of bearing tools in here, and you can probably guess why, because I try not to do too many of that unless it's a bolt-on inside the car. In the next drawer, oop, that's the same one. Nothing. And then I've got a fluid pump. You can siphon fuel out of a gas tank or anything like that. Probably better to get one of those air-powered ones, though. Let me move this battery and we can go on to my nice orange box. It's the same one that's in the back of the van, except it has its legs. And then we've also got a nice little side table. I love that thing. Alright, moving on to the top. Set up very similarly to the other box. We got a whole bunch of sockets, except this stuff is mostly standard. We've got some chisels, picks, ratchets, a couple snap ring pliers, some more screwdrivers, things like that. In here, we've got a heat gun, staple gun, a sander for any sort of bondo or body work you might be doing. Next drawer, we got this. It's kind of a cool little tool. It'll change sizes depending on what you need. Bionic wrench. Don't really use it too much, but it's kind of cool. And we got the riveter. Next drawer down, that's the pliers drawer for this box. Next one is some hammers, some pipe wrenches, a couple old school torque wrenches, and an oil filter wrench. This more just some extra stuff more than anything. And then we got a few other things. I got my Autel TPMS tool. This thing's kind of cool. I thought I was going to be able to sell this after I bought the Top Don, but I think I'm actually going to go ahead and hang on to it, because this one can program Autel sensors, and Autel sensors will work for most vehicles. So if you have a tool that can program your own sensors, that's definitely nice. And the Top Don, at least for my vehicle, will only do it for 2008 and up. This, we've got a AC sniffer, I like to call it. It is a refrigerant leak detector. I believe this one's from Harbor Freight. It works out pretty decent. I'm sure there's some out there that are way better than this one, but I actually have diagnosed a coolant leak, or not a coolant leak, but a refrigerant leak with that tool. And then a couple of these things here are just some things that I got from my dad a long time ago. Just some random stud remover sockets, and then a hub puller tool. Now we can go on and check out some of the equipment. I've got a transmission jack over there. I've got another creeper back there, a couple oil catch pans, a couple more jack stands. I got a giant railroad size vise that I freshly painted recently. Got to have all your fluids in stock. As a mobile mechanic, you definitely want to have some of that stuff because it comes in handy from time to time. Got the good old Top Don scanner that I did a review on about a week ago, or not a review, but an unboxing. Over here is that good bearing tool, the one that you want to use instead. This thing will get the job done. I believe this one's also from Harbor Freight. Definitely a good tool to have. And we also got an engine stand with no engine on it. And then I got an engine hoist as well. And over there we got the good old torch. That thing will melt your face off. And of course we got some car wash stuff, some paint, some other random stuff. And then the cool surprise that I said I'd show you. The 50cc, now 72cc actually, because of the big bore kit. But it is a Tao Tao ATM 50A1 scooter. Love this thing. Cruise around town with your boys. It's a great time. Bought this thing brand new back in 2017. It's a 2015 model though. Got the windshield, got the big bore kit on it, got remote start, alarm, heated grips, heated seat, all that good stuff. Over here, there's the legs to my toolbox in the van. Got the pressure washer. I don't use that too much for automotive, but it comes in handy when you're washing your car. We got that air bubble there to fill up a tire if you can't get the compressor to it. There's the compressor, of course, 20 gallons, McGraw, also from Harbor Freight. Not a terrible compressor for a home garage, but if you're going to be running a shop, you'd of course want to get something bigger than that. Also got the shop vac. That definitely comes in handy if you're working on cars or cleaning them. And then the big, giant snow blower, 24-inch Troy built. The only reason I bring this up is because I actually worked on a guy's car, and he gave that to me as a tip. So I'm going to be posting this bad boy for sale this winter, hoping to get about $400 or $500 out of it. And that's pretty much the end of the garage tour. Really hope you all enjoyed. Once again, I appreciate that 10 subscribers. Let's try to get that number much, much higher. Trying to get up to 100 soon. Really appreciate you guys viewing, and stay tuned for plenty more videos to come. Thank you.